Well, hello there, everybody. Good Monday morning to everyone. Hope you are doing well and your week is off to a good start. We're going to start with a little bit of Strat-O-Matic on a Monday morning. Game number 214 in the 1987 replay. Another game on the May 12th, 1987 docket. From Fenway Park, it's the Seattle Mariners taking on the Boston Red Sox. Not a sexy pitching matchup whatsoever. Mike Trujillo against Jeff Sellers. And neither team are all that impressive record-wise. Boston's 12-19, Seattle is 11-21, but it's on the schedule, so we play it. Don't skip anything around here. We play it as it is. Since it's a morning game, of course, I have my McDonald's coffee right here. I didn't go to McDonald's and get it. This is from the grocery store. Go to get their McCafe breakfast blend. It's wonderful coffee. Love it. Helps me start my day every day, that's for sure. All right. Let's go to the Strat-O-Matic computer and get the records for the starter, Jeff Sellers. He's 2-1, ERA of 5.26, which is pretty good since his ERA in real world was 5.28. So 5.26, right on the money there, I guess. 26 innings pitched, 32 hits, 7 walks, and 23 strikeouts. So Jeff Sellers will finish up his warm-up tosses and heading to the plate will be leadoff man John Moses. He's gotten hot recently, and that has allowed him to break the Mendoza line. He's now at 202 on the replay. A homer and 12 driven in. He at 246 in the real deal. So we are ready to go. And again, no dice tower, just manual dice in my hand. Old school dice, the old Strat-O-Matic dice. Nothing fancy, just a guy, his cards, score sheet, and his dice. That's pretty about as simple as it gets. The only thing that's going to add a little bit to it is the Strat-O-Matic computer on the to be able to score the game as I play it and keep track of the stats. So here's John Moses. He will lead off. And, of course, I'll roll the D20 only when it's needed. Oh, and I'm going to re-roll that because I got this backstop over here, and somehow maybe I need more coffee. Somehow I missed the paper, so let's try it again. All right, 4-5. 4-5 is going to be a fly ball center field. So hauled in out there by Ellis Burks. One away, and John Moses is retired. That'll bring up Phil Bradley, the left fielder. And Bradley on the replay, hitting 231, 410 driven in. He had 297 real world, so obviously he's not off to the best of starts either. And now somehow I dropped one of these, the white die, and now I can't find it. Had it in my lap, and now I dropped it and can't find it. So, wouldn't you know, right away, run into a little snafu. And these little things, when they bounce somewhere, they can go anywhere. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to just go to the box and get another white D6 as a backup. Assuming I have one. Yeah, I got one. Okay. I'll find the other one later, I guess. These things bounce. I tell you, these little things like that, they get away from you. You can go anywhere. All right, here's Phil Bradley. 3-6, and that's a walk. So okay, we're back. I'm not sure why my computer and or YouTube did that to me, but for some reason I got the circles in the sand, and so I had to reboot the computer. All right, so in case anybody, I don't know what the last thing shown was, but the last at bat was Scott Bradley, the catcher, fouling out to his counterpart, Mark Sullivan. So with 2 outs now, Ken Phelps, the DH, is on. We'll roll the havoc roll. Nothing happening. So Phelps steps to the plate. I'm going to leave the extract computer closed and just focus on this, and hopefully that will help speed things up and not deal with this other stuff. So here's Phelps. 2-6, and he's going to draw a base on balls. So second walk issued by Jeff Sellers. Puts runners at first and second with 2 outs, and there comes the hound dog, Jim Presley. So we'll keep an eye on Presley and see what he can do. That's a 1, so wild pitch chance for Sellers. His wild pitch rating is a 3. So 1-3, and he will uncork a wild pitch. He does not. So Sellers against Presley. That's a 1-7, and he struck him out. That's going to end the inning. First strikeout for Sellers. He gets out of the jam. Mini jam, I guess you call it. So at the end of half inning to play, it is Seattle nothing and Boston coming to bat. And former Boston Red Sox Mike Trujillo. He was part of that Spike Owen Dave Henderson trade they made last year. So he's going to start for Seattle against Ellis Burks, the right-hander. Trujillo is 1-2 on the replay. Here's Ellis Burks. So I guess my YouTube or my internet is having the Mondays, case of the Mondays. So here's Burks. 2-8 for Burks, and that's a solid single to right field for Ellis Burks. He will get himself a base hit. And let's see if he can get the lead. 5 or a 6 gets him the lead. That's a 7. He cannot get the lead, so he will hold. And that brings up Marty Barrett, second baseman. 3-7, and that's a walk. So how about that? First two batters are on via a single and a walk, and that's not good for Trujillo because now you got to deal with the big boys, Boggs, Greenwell, and Baylor. And this is where the Red Sox can put on some runs, no question about it. Nothing on the havoc. Here's Wade Boggs. He's feasting now with 2 on and nobody out. 5-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. Looking at Quinones, he's a 3E31 for Quinones. So we'll see what Quinones can do on this 3E31. An 11, a 3 and an 11 is a G2, so his only play is the second base. Can he make it? E31, he's got to avoid 4, 6, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So basically 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18 is what he's got to avoid. And he does that. So it's a G2 to short to Quinones. So he will get Barrett on the force. Boggs will reach, and Burks goes to third. So runners are on the corners with 1 out, and Don Baylor, your batter. Boggs, no threat to run. He will not be held. I'm sorry, Greenwell, not Baylor. Baylor's on deck. Mike Greenwell, your batter. Nothing on the havoc roll. Trujillo to Greenwell. That's a 6-11. That's a ballpark single check, and that's bad news for Seattle because ballpark singles are 1-19 in Fenway for lefties. So this is almost guaranteed. 18 is still going to fit, though. Now score Ellis Burks, and the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead. Boggs will stop at second. It's only 1 base advancement on ballpark singles. But the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead on the Mariners, which is to be expected because Seattle's not very good. All right, here's Don Baylor. Again, runners first and second, 1 out. If Seattle can turn a double play, then get out of this mess. 6-3. Well, there's a strikeout for Trujillo. That will help him. That's 2 down. Strikes out Baylor. And now he's got to deal with Dwight Evans in a clutch situation. Nothing on the havoc. Trujillo to Evans, 3-8, and that's a strikeout. So he comes back with 2 strikeouts to get out of the mess and hold the Red Sox to 1 run, which, quite frankly, is almost miraculous. Seeing how much how the game started in that inning, it looked like a 4 or 5 run inning, but Trujillo minimized the damage. That's what you have to do. If you don't have your good stuff or you're not very good, you got to minimize the damage. All right, here's Alvin Davis, first baseman. 3-8, and it's a single for Alvin Davis. So he leads off with the base hit. I'm expecting an 8-7 type of game here. So we're not looking for a pitching duel by any means, especially in Fenway. Ballparks are going to give the hitters even more help. Nothing on the havoc. Here's Mike Kingery, right fielder. 5-11. That's a ballpark single, and like I said, that's a 1-19, so it's pretty much guaranteed. And it is. So first and second, nobody out. And the Mariners have a chance to not only tie the game, but possibly take the lead if they can get some hits together. Here's Quinones, the shortstop. That's a 5-5, and that is a strikeout by Sellers, a big one. And that's 1 away. Second strikeout for Jeff Sellers. Here's Harold Reynolds. That's a 20, nothing on the havoc. It's a 3-12 for Reynolds. He's hit by the pitch, so Harold Reynolds takes one for the team. and it will load the bases. Bases are loaded with only one out. And we're back to the top of the order, and John Moses flew out to center field his first chance. Red Sox are laying back for a double play. See if they can turn it. 4-8 to the switch hitter left-handed. 4-8 to 1-8 single. Anything else he lines to second base. 9-20 he lines out. And he does. It's a 10. So he lines out to Barrett. All runners have to hold. And now if he can get Phil Bradley, Sellers can get out of the jam. Got to get Phil Bradley, though. That was a 13. Nothing happening there. 4-7, right-handed. But he walks in a run. Jeff Sellers will walk in a run. He's walked Bradley for the second time. That's his third walk to go with a hit by pitch, so he's having some control issues. Davis comes in to score. An RBI bases loaded walk. Bases are still loaded, and we're tied at 1 for Scott Bradley, the catcher. Nothing happening there. 2-8 for Scott Bradley, and that's a ground ball to second, and that will end the inning. But Seattle comes back to tie it. And at the end of 1.5, we're tied at 1. Like I said, I was not anticipating a pitching duel, not with these two pitchers and not with these two teams and not at Fenway Park. That's like the perfect storm for a lot of runs. So here's Trujillo. And on a Monday morning, maybe neither one of these teams is awake right now. I don't know. All right, here is Bill Buckner. 3-5 for Buckner, and he will fly it to right field. Kingery is there, 1 away. Brings up Ed Romero, the shortstop. 6-8, and that's a solid single for Romero. He's aboard, but he's really no threat to steal, so they will not even hold him on. And the catcher, Mark Sullivan, steps to the plate. 5-8, and that's a fly ball to center field. Hauled in by John Moses, 2 down. And it's back to the top of the order, and Ellis Burks. Nothing on the Havoc. 2-7 for Burks, and he struck him out. So how about that? 3 strikeouts for Trujillo now. And at the end of 2, we got a tie score at 1 apiece here at Fenway. All right, Jeff Sellers back out, and he'll be facing Phelps, Presley, and Davis, due up for the Mariners. Here in the top of the third of a 1-1 game. 6-10, it's ground ball third base X. So we're checking Wade Boggs. See if he's up to being able to field this play. Wade Boggs, and Boggs is a 2E16. So a 2 and a 20, it's a G1. He'll get to that. He's an E16. So he has to avoid 15, 16, 17, and 18, basically. Also a 3. And that's a 15. He does not avoid it. That'll be a 1 base error on Wade Boggs with that 15 there. So Wade Boggs boots it. And that'll put Ken Phelps on first base to start the inning. E5, not what the Red Sox needed. Not what either pitcher needs. They're going to have enough trouble with the batters without having their defense laying them down. Here's the hound dog, Jim Presley. 111, and that's trouble there. 1-19 is going to be a home run, so this looks like a goner. And it is a 2-run home run for the hound dog, Jim Presley, as he just crushed it. Came right after the error, and now Seattle leads it by a score of 3-1. 3-1 ball game on the 2-run home run from the hound dog, Jim Presley. That 111, he's pretty much guaranteed to hit a home run right here. Didn't even need Fenway Park. Fenway Park had nothing to do with that one. That was just a crushing blow by the hound dog, Jim Presley. And since I had to reboot the computer, I lost my Strat-O-Matic, so I'm just going to bring up the stats, not the game itself. So Presley, with that home run, let's see, that is Presley's 4th homer. RBI 16 and 17 on the replay. So 3-1 lead now for Seattle. And here's Alvin Davis. It's a 1-5. And that's going to be a walk. And again, that's the most popular result after a home run, tends to be a walk. And that is the 4th walk issued by Sellers on top of hitting a batter. So he's definitely had control issues. Here's Mike Kingery, right fielder. 6-9, and that's going to be a fly out to Evans in right field. 1 away. And it'll be up to Quinones. Keep things going here for the Mariners. That's a 3-7, and that's going to be a single, 2 stars. He does keep it going. Davis will motor over to third, and now you got runners at the corners with only 1 out, and Harold Reynolds the batter. 3-1 game already. Harold Reynolds does run well, but he does round into some double plays, so they are playing back for the double play if they can turn it. 4-7 is another walk, though, so that's Jeff Sellers with his 5th walk, and we haven't even got through the 3rd inning yet, and the bases are now loaded with 1 out for John Moses, and now the Red Sox bullpen is starting to warm up in earnest, and left-hander Tom Bolton is loosening in the Red Sox bullpen, and Sellers may not make it through the 3rd inning. We'll have to wait and see. Bases are loaded with 1 out. Moses, your batter. He's not really much to hit into a double play, so the infield is actually going to play in on this one, assuming Sellers doesn't walk him. 5-11, that's a ballpark single check. That's bad news again because it's a 1-19, so pretty much guaranteed. And it's a single, but it's only 1 base advancement on ballpark singles. But another run comes in. It's 4-1 Seattle, and the bases are still loaded. And Phil Bradley, the batter. This will be Sellers' last batter. They will not let him face the lefties that are coming up. They're going to bring in Tom Bolton, but they're going to try to see if Sellers can maybe somehow turn a double play. They're back for the double play again. 3-6, and that's yet another walk by Sellers, and that's going to be it. That is going to be it for Mr. Sellers. He just didn't have it today. Another run is in. Sellers is not even going to make it very far. He's going to go 2 1/3 innings. Horrible. 2 1/3 innings, and he ends up walking 6 batters. He only struck out 2. And hits, he gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hits. Don't know about the runs yet because all the runners on base are still his responsibility. So Sellers is out of there. And Tom Bolton is your batter. Or your pitcher, I should say. New pitcher. On the replay, Tom Bolton, let's get his numbers. I think this is his first appearance. He was just a recent call-up, and I don't remember him being used in the last game. Nope, this is his initial appearance on the season. On the replay, he was 1-0 with a 4.38 in 52 innings of pitching. But this will be his maiden voyage right here. And he'll be facing the 9th man to bat in the inning, Scott Bradley. Bases are still loaded with only 1 out. And they're playing back for the double play. See if they can get Bradley to hit into a double play. It's a 6-8, and that's a strikeout, so that'll certainly help the cause. But Seattle has batted around as Ken Phelps, who led off the inning, reaching on that error by Boggs. He's going to step up to the plate again now with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Bolton trying to get out of the mess. 4-10, and that's a fly ball center field X. That's Ellis Burks. He's a 2. So you would think he could get to that with being a 2. Hello, D. Smith. Good to see you. So as a 2 center fielder, we'll see if he can get to it. A 3, just what they needed, a bad roll like that. A 2 and a 3 is a single 2 stars. That'll score 2 runs. Burks is an E5, so he's got to avoid 4, 16, and 17, which he does, but single 2 stars could have ended the inning, but it's a single 2 stars for Ken Phelps, and the hit parade continues. Reynolds and Moses score. Those runs are charged to Sellers, but they're all unearned because of that initial error by Wade Boggs. So Boston making a mess of this whole game. They had a 1-0 lead after one, but boy, they've given up a run in the second to tie it. And now so far 6 runs here in the third. And here's the hound dog, Jim Presley. 111 against the lefty. He already homered in this game. Now he's got a chance for a triple. 1-2 was a triple. Anything else will be a double. That's a double. So Presley doubles. That will score Bradley from second base. Phelps, I don't believe he's going to. Let's see here. He runs at a 9, was not being held, makes him a 10, or 2 outs makes him a 12. So why not? They're going to go ahead and send him. 1-12, he scores. And he's in there. So a 2-run double off the bat of the hound dog, Jim Presley. And the Mariners have scored 8 runs in this inning. Unbelievable. Here's Alvin Davis. 4-10. And another fly ball center field X. So again, Ellis Burks gets a chance to redeem himself. 18, this time he will get to it. And he needs to avoid, as an E5, he needs to avoid 4, 16, and 17, which he does. So finally, the inning is mercifully over. But we count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 runs for Seattle. And they take a 9-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the third. And Tom Bolton is going to be, I think, in there for the duration, as long as he can go to save the bullpen. So the happiest guy in the room is Mike Trujillo. He's gotten some run support. And if he can make it 5 innings, then he'll qualify for the win. But you know what? It's the way this game is, it could be a 10-9 game very quickly. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. Hello, Colin. All right, here's Barrett. 3-8 for Barrett, and that's a single. So here comes the. I told you it was going to be. I'm not surprised at all about the hit parade that's going on, because you got 2 bad teams. You got Fenway Park, so it's just a recipe for disaster. Nothing on the Havoc. Down 9-1. Marty Barrett's not going anywhere. Not with the heart of the order coming up. It's a 4-9, and that's a double. 1-2, or a single 3-20. That's a single, but it is 2 stars, so runners will be at the corners with nobody out, and back come the Red Sox. Question is, can anybody pitch in this game? Here's Greenwell. Infield, of course, back for the double play. 5-7. That's a ground ball. Shortstop X. Runner was not being held, so shortstop Quinones keeps his 3 E31. So Quinones the 3. 3-12 is a G2, so they get the force play if they can get the out. But E31, he's got to avoid 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. And how about that? 15 is going to be an error. That's a 1-base error on Quinones right there, the 15. So they don't even get the force play. That's going to be an E6, just like the Red Sox had an E5. Here comes an E6. Obviously, Quinones did not watch Harold Reynolds on Baseball Tonight to figure out how to do some fielding, so he boots it. Run scores. It's now 9-2. Still nobody out, and here's Don Baylor. Dick Williams not a happy man in that Seattle dugout. 5-8 for Baylor. It's a fly ball to center. They finally get an out on the fly ball to center field. So 1 down, and that'll take us to Dwight Evans. First and second, 1 out. Dewey Evans. 1-7, and Dewey Evans is going to do some damage. 1-8's a double. 9-20 is a single. That's a single, but it is 2 stars, and that will score Boggs. So a second run is in. Greenwell will go to third. So runners are on the corners, and that's what you need to catch up. Not necessarily the home runs. You just need to keep the train moving with the bases. Runners on the bases. Here's Buckner. And avoid a double play. That's the other thing. 6-5, that's a fly to center field B. It will be a sacrifice fly to center field with the B. So Greenwell will score, and it's now 9-4. Red Sox have gotten 3 of those runs back pretty quickly. And here's Ed Romero with 2 outs. Evans at first, not being held. 3-6. Ground ball to short is going to end the inning. But 11 runs combined were scored in this 3rd inning. Also 2 errors and lots of hits. So we go to the top of the 4th, and it is 9-4. Yep, no pitching duel at all. Here's Mike Kingery. Kingery is 1 for 2. 4-7 against the left-hander, and that's another single. So the hit parade continues. That'll bring up Quinones, shortstop. It's a 1, so a wild pitch chance for Tom Bolton. So we need to get his wild pitch rating. They, of course, are not on the cards in Strat-O-Matic in 1987. So I've got to go to the computer and get the wild pitch rating of Bolton. And his wild pitch rating is a 10. So 1 to 10, it's a wild pitch. And it is. So Bolton uncorks one. And Quinones with Kingery now at second base. It's going to swing away. Takes a double play out of the order. 2-7. Single to center field. That might score a run. Kingery runs pretty well. 15. Not being held makes him a 16. Center fielder arm is a 0. 1 to 16. They're gonna send him, and he's in there. He's in there, and Quinones will take second on the throw. It's now 10-4. It's a 10-4 good buddy game. Quinones at second, nobody out for Harold Reynolds. That's another 1, so another 1 to 10. Nope, no double play this time. All right, here's Harold Reynolds. 2-6 for Harold Reynolds against the lefty. He lines it to Boggs, and that's 1 away. That'll bring up Moses. .310 against the lefty is a ground ball shortstop A, and it would have been a double play without the runner taking second on the throw home, I should say, but it'll just be a ground out to short with the runner holding. So now 2 down for Phil Bradley. 10-4 Seattle here in the 4th inning. 5-6, and that's going to be a walk. That'll put runners at first and second for Phil Bradley. I mean, for Scott Bradley, rather. Lefty on lefty matchup. 5-5, and that's a 1-14 single. It's only 1 star, so it would load the bases. But it's a 20, so he lines it to Barrett to end the inning. So they get by with just a 1 run. But it is a 10-4 good buddy game as we're in the bottom of the 4th. So I guess if you give up just 1 run, it must be counted as a successful inning here in the way this game is going. Not for the faint of heart, I know that. Hello, Justin. Good to see you. Yep. I'm not having breakfast yet. I'm just drinking my coffee. I'll eat breakfast after the game. Hello, Aaron. Didn't see you. Hello, Bart. Good to see you as well. All right. So Mark Sullivan, 10-4 Seattle. Boston has their work cut out for him. 3-6 struck him out. 4th strikeout for Trujillo. And that's going to send up the leadoff man, Ellis Burks. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. 2-2, and as a fly ball to left, Phil Bradley puts it away. Could we have a 1-2-3 inning? That would be a novelty. Here's Marty Barrett. 5-5, we do. It's a fly to right. Kingery puts it away. 1-2-3 inning for Trujillo. So he's looking to even his record at 2-2, no doubt about it. We go to the 5th, it's still 10-4. Favor of the Seattle Mariners. Bolton back out. We'll face Ken Phelps. Phelps was the batter he came in to face originally. Actually, no, it was Scott Bradley. So All right, here's Phelps. Lefty on lefty against Bolton. 6-3 is a fly ball right field X. That's Dewey Evans. You know he's going to get to it because he's a 1. So now we're just checking an error. And his error rating for Evans is only an E2. So the only way he makes an error is 3, 16, and 18. So it's a good play. So Dwight Evans makes the catch. 1 down. If you had Darrell Evans in right field, I doubt he would make that catch. All right, here is Presley, the hound dog. 1-7, and he's going to strike him out. So Bolton gets the K. 2 down. Could have a 1-2-3 inning on Boston's side. Here is Alvin Davis. 3-7, and he struck him out. We certainly do. What is going on here? Where did this pitching come from? It goes bottom of the 5th, still 10-4. And this is the fatigue inning for Trujillo, and he has to complete this inning to qualify for the win, or else it'll go to somebody in the bullpen. Here's Wade Boggs. He's 1 for 2. 5-6, and that's a strikeout. 5th strikeout for Trujillo. And that'll send up Greenwell. 2-10, and that's a 1-6. I'm sorry, I'm over here. 2-10, it's a base hit against a right-hander. Got to remember, Bolton, I go over here, Trujillo is over here. So it's going to be a base hit for Mike Greenwell. And with the score being 10-4, they're not holding anybody on, and nobody's going to go anywhere. Here's Don Baylor. Not when you're playing in Fenway. You don't want to run yourself out of an inning. 6-8 for Baylor, and that's a single to right field. Greenwell runs at a 12, was not being held as a 13. Going to right field makes him a 15. Kingery, though, is a -2 arm. So I don't think you want to take a chance on the base paths. They're going to hold him at second base. So here's Dewey Evans. 1 out, runners at first and second. Trujillo to Evans. 3-5, and that's a walk. And now Trujillo is tired, as this is a fatigue inning, and he's given up 3 runners. So he is fatigued, but they're going to try to get him through the inning best as possible. Although the bullpen is loosening for the Mariners, they do have activity in their bullpen, and they have left-handed pitcher Bill Wilkinson loosening in their bullpen. Do the Mariners, just in case Trujillo can't make it. Bases loaded, 1 out, infield back for the double play against Bill Buck. That's a 3-8 for Buck, and he grounds it to shortstop A, and Trujillo gets out of the mess. How about that? 6-4-3. Poor Mr. Buckner hits into the double play, and Trujillo will qualify for the win now. That's going to be all for Trujillo. He goes 5 innings, but that's all they're going to ask of him, as he had reached fatigue, so there's no sense in trying to push it further. He's given up 4 runs, 3 of which were earned. Let's see how many he walked. Trujillo looks like he walked 2, and hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. But he qualifies for the win. That's all that counts. So Wilkinson will be the new pitcher coming on for Seattle in the 6th inning. Bolton, let's see. This will be his fatigue inning right here. He's only given up 1 run, so he's pretty good shape. The run up here was charged to. Actually, no, he's given up 2 runs. My bad. He's given up 2 runs. All right, so Bolton will be facing Kingery, Quinones, and Reynolds, bottom of the order for the Mariners. 1-8 against the lefty. It's a ground ball to second. Barrett will put it away. 1 down. I remember where they batted around, so it looks like I'm in the 7th on the score sheet, but it's really the 6th because they batted around in the 3rd. All right, here is Quinones, the shortstop. 2-3 to the left-hander, and that is a walk. Just what they needed, more free base on balls. Quinones will not be held, obviously. Score still being 10-4. Here's Reynolds. 3-7 to the left-hander. A ground ball shortstop B, so that's going to be a fielder's choice. 2 outs. Reynolds is now at first base. They will hold him on just to be realistic, but he's not going to go anywhere up 10-4. So Bolton to Moses. 1-4 is a ground ball to third, and that's going to do it. And that's going to do it for Bolton. So Bolton did give him some length, eat up some innings, keeps the score at 10-4. But now the Red Sox will need a new pitcher heading into the next inning. It will be Wes Gardner. So Wes Gardner will come in and pitch going forward. But let's get the numbers on Bolton. Came in right here. So let's see. He gave it 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4 hits. 2 runs, they were earned. And he walked 2. And he struck out 2. And he ended up pitching, let's see, 2 1/3 going to the 6th. So that is 3 2/3. All right, so not sure how many runs here were earned or unearned. I didn't keep track of that like I should have. So I'm just going to put down the number of runs total, which is 8 charged to Sellers. I think, if I'm looking at this correctly, I think only 5 were earned, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll let the Strat computer figure that out later when I input the stats. But right now, that's what we got. We go to the bottom of the 6th, new pitcher Bill Wilkinson for the Mariners. And he'll be facing Romero, Sullivan, and Burks. And I will get the hello ID. ID, I've been retired for 6 weeks now. And I know when I was working, I used to enjoy these morning games that someone would put on. So I figured, why not? All right, so let's get the numbers on Wilkinson on the replay. On the replay, Bill Wilkinson checks in 1-1 with a 4.32 earned run average. This is his 14th appearance. He does have a save, 16 2/3, 16 hits, 5 walks and 3 strikeouts. And we also need to get his wild pitch numbers because they're not on the card. He's a 0 on both cases. No wild pitch, no balk. So don't worry about that with Bill Wilkinson. No wild pitch and no walk. So now Ed Romero is up. It's still a 10-4 good buddy game. 4-7 against the right-handers. A ground ball shortstop X. We are checking again. Mr. Quinones, he's a 3.31. So as a 3, just basically needs a 5 or higher to make the play. That's a 5. He barely does. It's a G3, but it's good enough. E31, got to avoid 13, 15, 16, and 17. And he does, so it's a good play for Quinones. And he retires Romero. 1 down, Mark Sullivan. 1-2, and that's a ground ball to Presley at third base. 2 down. And that'll bring up Ellis Burks. 3-9 against the left-hander is a ground ball to short. So 3 ground outs by Wilkinson. He puts the kibosh on any Red Sox thoughts of a rally in this inning. We go to the 7th. Still 10-4. Amazingly, been a couple of 0 innings here the last 2 innings. Don't know where that's coming from after all the hitting. I guess somebody's finally decided to pitch. And here's Wes Gardner for the Red Sox. No relation to Dave Gardner. I don't know if, and I probably should have corner rounded his card just because it's Gardner, but I didn't do that. So I left it alone. So we'll get the numbers on Gardner on the replay. And let's take a look here. Where'd you go, Wes Gardner? There you are. So on the replay, Wes Gardner is not very good. He's 0-0, no saves, an ERA of an even 9. This will be appearance number 13. He's gone 17 innings, given up 28 hits, obviously 17 earned runs for the ERA of 9. 9 homers and 15 runs driven in. 9 walks and 15 strikeouts. And he's given up 8 home runs in just 17 innings of pitching. So he has not been exactly fooling them. But when you're down 10-4, this is the kind of guy you bring in. So here's Phil Bradley. It's a 3-6, and he's going to draw a walk. What else is new? Another base on balls by a Mariner pit player. And Dick Williams says, "Screw it! I don't care what the score is. We're gonna go for it." So he's going to try to get the lead at 2-5 to get him the lead. Cannot get the lead. He will be held, but he won't get the lead. Here comes Scott Bradley, the other white meat. 2-5, and that's going to be a pop out to Buckner at first base. 1 down. For the big guy, Ken Phelps. 3-6 for Phelps, struck him out. 2 down. Here comes the hound dog, Jim Presley. Hit his 4th homer earlier, back in that outrageous 3rd inning. 3-5, and he's going to hit a fly ball to left field. Greenwell puts it away. And I don't know where all this pitching is coming from all of a sudden, but there it is. So we go to the bottom of the 7th, but I'm going to eschew the music and just keep rolling because this game doesn't need to roll on but so much longer. I keep moving the numbers on my score sheet because they did bat around. All right, here's Marty Barrett. Wilkinson pitched a 1-2-3-6, so he's looking strong here in the 7th, facing Marty Grinning Barrett. 3-8, and that's a single. Single for Barrett. And here comes Wade Boggs. Ooh, 6-3. That thing fell off the end there. 6-3, lefty on lefty is a ground ball first base X. So we're checking Alvin Davis. He is a 4. 4-4, though. That's problematic. Not sure he can get to this. 4-4 is an SI2. So that will be a single 2 stars as he snuck it past Alvin Davis. Davis's error rating is a 9. So we'll check first baseman E9. He's got to avoid 7, 14, 17, and 18 and a 3. And that's an 8. So he just did avoid it. So no error on the play, but it's a single 2 bases for the base runner. And the Red Sox have runners on the corners with nobody out for Mike Greenwell. Infield obviously back looking for the double play. They need outs. Whoop. Thing fell off the side again. 3-7. That's a ground ball second base A. It will be a 4-6-3 double play. The infield was not in, so the plus doesn't matter. The run scores to make it a 10-5 game. But they'll trade. The Mariners would gladly trade that to get the 2 outs. So that's certainly killed the rally there. 6-11. Ground ball first base X for back to Alvin Davis once again. Again, he is a 4. 4-17, he'll get to it. And the E9, he's got to avoid this 7, 14, 17, and 18, which he does. So he'll get to it and flip to Wilkinson covering for the out. Red Sox get a run, but that's all they get. And we've completed 7 innings here at Fenway with the score now 10-5 favor of the Mariners. Gardner out for his 2nd inning of work. He'll be facing Davis, Kingery, and Quinones for the Mariners. That's a 6-3. And I guess the lefty, it's another ground ball first base. This time it's Buckner. That's trouble because Buckner is not very good. 4E13. 4-3. That's bad news. That's a single. It's going to get by him. He is an E13, so he has to avoid 11, 13, and 17. And he does, but it's going to be a base hit, sneaking by the bow-legged Bill Buckner, Nobby Need Buckner, whatever you want to call him, the old man. So Davis reaches, and here comes Kingery. That's a 112, and that's a hit by pitch. You like that? So second hit by pitch by Red Sox pitching. Don't know the Mariners are appreciating that. That's the second time. They got Harold Reynolds. Sellers got Harold Reynolds back in the second inning, and now they get Kingery here in the seventh. I'm sorry, in the eighth. So here's Quinones. Whoops, I bumped something there, didn't I? Make sure I didn't get out of range here. Fix that because I bumped something. All right, so we rolled a twos. That's a balk or pass ball opportunity for the Red Sox and Wes Gardner and their catcher, Mark Sullivan. So let's look at the stats under Wes Gardner for his balk chances. He has a 0 balk rating, 9 wild pitch rating. Sullivan has a pass ball of 14, though, so they're hoping for a balk chance. And it is, so there's no balk. So don't need to worry about that. Here's Quinones. 5-8, and that's a strikeout. So Gardner gets the strikeout of Quinones. 1 away for Harold Reynolds. First and second, 1 out. It'd be tough to double up Reynolds. 3-7. That's a ground ball first base B, so the only play is a fielder's choice as they throw to second, but the return throw is not going to be in time. Davis will take third. So runners are at the corners with 2 outs. And Dick Williams says, you're going to hit my batters, I'm going to steal on you. So Harold Reynolds going for the steal. 2 through 6 or a 9. That's a 6. He gets the lead. It's an 18. Gardner is a -5, though. So being held is a -2 plus the -5 there. Drops that down to an 11. So 1 to 11. And Reynolds will steal it. And he's caught stealing. So they got greedy and he got caught stealing. Now it's going to go 2 to 6 as Romero put on the tag. So nothing doing there. Harold Reynolds didn't really, I guess his heart wasn't into the steal, but Dick Williams said, screw it, we're going to steal anyway because they're hitting our guys. So now Bill Wilkinson, is he going to come back out and pitch? It's a 10-5 ball game. They could bring in somebody else. Wilkinson's already gone 2 innings. So they may go ahead and go to another pitcher. They're going to go to Mark Huseman, a right-hander. He needs some work, I believe. So Huseman will come on. And we will get the numbers on Wilkinson. He goes 2 innings. Gives up 2 hits and a run. No walks and no strikeouts. So now, bottom of the 8th, Huseman will face Evans, Buckner, and Romero. But we're going to pinch hit for Sullivan if it gets that far. But first of all, here's Dewey Evans. That's a 2-3 for Evans, and he's going to ground it to short. Quinones makes the play, 1 away. Here's Billy Buck. 4-6, and that's a 1-8 single. 9-20, lines out. That's an 8, so it'll be a base hit for Billy Buckner. And of course, he's not going anywhere as slow as he is. And here's Ed Romero. That's a 1-8 for Romero, and that's a single, 2 stars. Put runners at the corners with 1 out, and they will pinch hit from Mark Sullivan. There's no way letting Sullivan hit in this situation. So they will bring on a pinch hitter, and it will be Jim Rice. So Rice will pinch hit here in the 8th, and then the new catcher will be Gedman in the 9th. But Jim Rice will do the pinch hitting, and then Rich Gedman will catch in the 9th. So Rice, your pinch hitter, with 1 out and runners on the corners. Rice, let's get his numbers on the replay. If I remember correctly, he's doing pretty well. Rice on the replay. He's hitting 337, 3 homers and 18 driven in. So he is doing pretty well for himself. He's 29 out of 86. All right, so Huseman to Rice. That's a 2, so possible balk or wild pitch on Huseman. Let's see what we're looking for here. That's a 3, so it is a balk chance, not a pass ball. So we go to Huseman and get his balk numbers if he has any. Huseman, where are you? Where the heck is Huseman? Oh, he went to Cleveland, so I got to go to Cleveland on the computer to find his card. Huseman. Or maybe is he on Cleveland already? He shouldn't be on Cleveland already. Let me double check. Well, it's too late now if I'm using him. So I'll get his balk numbers. Make sure he doesn't balk. He's a 0 balk, so he cannot balk. So that's good. Here's Rice. 1-7 for Rice struck him out. That's out number 2. 2 down for Ellis Burks. Back to the top of the order. So Rice is out of there. So 2 down, runners still in the corners for Ellis Burks. 3-8 for Burks. He's going to ground it to Presley at third, and the inning's over. So that's going to do it for the Red Sox here in the 8th. We go to the 9th. And let's see, Gardner, does he come back out for another inning? Probably does, I would imagine. Looks like he will. He's gone 2 innings. His fatigue is 2 innings. He's gone 2 innings, but they really don't want to use another reliever if they don't have to. It's a 10-5 ball game here in the 9th. I rolled a 1-9 instead of a 1-8. Is that what somebody said? Well, it's too late now. Was that on Rice's card or was that on somebody else's card? I don't know. At this point, I don't care. Just want to get the game over with because it's getting out. It was out of hand from the 3rd inning. So, been a nightmare game. I knew it would be with these two teams. 6-8 left-handed. That's a ballpark blast. Moses does have weak power though. It would be a 1-7 for a single. It's a 16, so that's going to be a failed ballpark blast. It'll just be a fly ball to right field for Moses. Here's Bradley. And Bradley has walked all 5 times. I just noticed this. Phil Bradley is 0 for 0. He has walked all 5 times. That has to be a record. I don't know if anybody that's played any game, Strat-O-Matic or otherwise, where a player has walked 5 times. All 5 of his at-bats have been walks. I just noticed that. That's freaky. There's no way he walks on this one. 2-11. Nope, he grounds to third. So they finally get him out of there. But he had walked 5 times in a row. I just noticed that. That was weird. All right, here's Scott Bradley. 4-12. That's a fly ball right field X. That's Evans. You know he's going to get to it. He's a 1. So we're just checking the outfield error rating. He's a 4. He's a 2. So the only way he makes an error is on a 3-18 or 16. And he does not. So Dewey Evans makes the play and the inning's over. So Wes Gardner is going to go 3 innings. So he definitely ate some innings for him. Helps their bullpen. So even despite giving up 10 runs, they only used 2 relief pitchers. So that certainly will come in handy the rest of the series. Save their bullpen. Now, let me check something here. And if I messed up and I hadn't moved Huseman to Cleveland, I didn't think that trade happened yet, but I'll double check it here on Retro Sheet. I don't want to use a guy that's not on the team, obviously. See when that trade occurred. Go to Seattle. And Huseman. When did that trade occur? May 12th. Oh, it's on this date, May 12th. How about that for Dave Gallagher? So Huseman should not have been pitching in this game, apparently. But apparently the trade is going to happen after the game. We're going to call it after the game. So, but Huseman's been pulled because the trade was just announced. So they're going to bring in somebody else to pitch the 9th. So Huseman's going to give up 2 hits and no runs and a strikeout. But yeah, on May the 12th, he was traded to Cleveland for Dave Gallagher. Just check that out. So we need a pitcher in the 9th inning for the Mariners, and they will use left-hander Stan Clark in a mop-up role to finish out this game. 10-5. Amazingly, it's been basically 10-4. Actually, it was 9-4 after 3. The last couple of innings, last 6 innings, have been 1 run apiece. So pitching showed up at about 3 innings too late. So here's Marty Barrett. Marty Barrett against Stan Clark. And that's a 2-6 against the left-hander. That's a walk. That's what we need, more walks. So Marty Barrett walks. Nobody's being held. Nobody's going anywhere. It's a 10-5 game. Nobody's going to try to run anywhere. Here's Wade Boggs. 1-7 for Boggs against the lefty. 1-16 is a double. 17-20 is a single. That's a double, 2 stars. So it'll put second and third with nobody out. And if it gets close enough to be a save situation, we'll bring in Nunez, the closer. But Seattle's hoping they don't have to do that. Here's Greenwell. 1-4, and that's a fly ball B ? To right field. Kingery's arm is a -2, so down by so many runs, I just don't think you take any chances on the base pass. Barrett's run doesn't mean anything. They will hold him there. Here's Don Baylor. I mean, I could have tried it, but it wouldn't have been worth the gamble. 4-4 for Baylor against Clark. That's a catcher X. So we're looking at Scott Bradley. He's a 4. So this could be a pass ball waiting to happen right here. He's a 4 as a catcher. 4-18 though. 4-18 is a G3. So that will be an out, but it will score a run. And of course, we're checking for an error on Bradley. He's an E5 as a catcher. He's got to avoid 4, 16, 17, and 18. Which he does, but it's going to be a G3. So that means it's a ground ball in front of the plate. His only play was to first. Barrett scores. Boggs takes third. It's 10-6. 10-6 ball game. And Dewey Evans, your batter. Boggs at third with 2 outs. That's a 2, so we'll check Stan Clark for a potential pass ball for potential balk, which he is a 0. And Bradley's a 1 for a pass ball. So we're checking the pass ball rating. This has to be a 1. And there is no pass ball. Now Evans will swing it against Stan Clark. 1-8, left-handed, and that's a walk. So the game continues. Bill Buckner, your batter, but I think they're going to pinch hit for Buckner. They need a right-handed hitter with some pop. And they will go to Dave Henderson. So Dave Henderson will pinch hit for Buckner. Henderson. Pinch hitting in the 9th. And on the replay for Henderson, let's get his numbers on the replay. He had been starting for a while, but then when they brought up Burks, he kind of went to the bench after that. Henderson's hitting .244, 7 homers, 19 driven in. So first and third, 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th of a 10-6 game. Clark to Henderson. That's a 3-9, and he's going to strike out to end the ball game. Red Sox get a run, make it 10-6, but that's going to do it as the Mariners hang on after the big 8-run third inning and pull out the win 10-6 over the Boston Red Sox. Clark will go an inning, walk 2, strike out 1, give up a hit and a run. Gardner in his 3 innings, very impressive actually. Only gave up 1 hit, no runs. Walked 1, hit a batter, and struck out 2. So I have Seattle 10 runs on 10 hits. And they did commit 1 error. That was an error by Quinones in the 3rd inning. For the Red Sox, They get 6 runs. They do it on 13 hits. And the one error they had was on Wade Boggs in the third. So there's your final. Seattle wins it by the score of 10-6. 10 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error for the Mariners. 6 runs, 13 hits, 1 error for the Red Sox. Mike Trujillo, the winner, he goes to 2-2. Jeff Sellers takes the loss. He drops to 2-2. And of course, there was no save to worry about. Seattle improves to 12-21. Boston drops to 12-20. So again, not exactly the sexiest matchup of all time. The next game in the replay, not sure when I'm going to play it. It'll be Kansas City and Toronto. Of course, ID will love it because Bo Jackson's in the game. But it's going to be John Cerruti against Bud Black, a couple of left-handers. That will be the pitching matchup in the next Strat-O-Matic game. Like I said, don't know when that will be. Probably tomorrow sometime. I'm not sure. I'll see what Uncle Ron's doing at lunchtime. If he's not doing anything at lunchtime, I may jump in there. I don't know. Depends on how I'm feeling, what I've got going on around the house and whatnot. Yeah, Colin, it's definitely not. It wasn't one of the better games. So, yeah, the only thing I didn't do when I was getting this game together was I didn't check because when I first started the stream, the internet conked out on me, so I had to restart the computer. When I restarted the computer, I lost having the Strat-O-Matic game up on the computer, which would have told me that Mark Huseman had been traded, but I didn't see that, so I didn't know that. But now, obviously, I will go ahead and make that move and put Huseman on Cleveland and bring Gallagher over to Seattle to make sure going forward that that's the case. So there you have it, Strat-O-Matic old school with the dice. No dice tray, just the old dice and the score sheet, nothing else. But hopefully by doing this, I can get my webcam down close enough where the cards show up a whole lot clearer than what they used to, because I used to have it up high enough where you couldn't really, at least in my opinion, I couldn't see the cards as good as I wanted people to see them. So, but anyway, that's going to do it from here. Next game in this replay, again, comes north of the border, where Kansas City will be taking on Toronto. John Cerruti, a lefty, against Bud Black, a lefty. But, yeah. So thank you all for spending part of your Monday morning with me. Like I said, I'm going to see what Uncle Ron's doing around lunchtime today. And if he's not doing a game, I never know when he's going to be doing his games. I just kind of check his Facebook page to see if he makes any kind of announcement. I don't want to do anything on top of him. I want to give him full opportunity to stream. So if he's not doing anything at noon, I might come back with this game at noon. It depends on what I got. Like I said, it depends on what I got going on around the house. The rain is coming, so I do need to mow the lawn, but at least the front yard. I got the backyard done Friday before the attack of the Yellow Jackets, but I do need to get the front yard done. I can do it tomorrow, though, because I think the rain's coming at least, if not noon, certainly, if not before noon, certainly no later than noon. So I probably will have a much better window to do that tomorrow morning. So once again, thank you all for spending part of your Monday morning with me. Kansas City, Toronto is the next game, but this one, Boston, boy, they just got waylaid. And Jeff Sellers got tore up by Seattle as they bat around in the third inning. A messy score sheet. They bat around in the third inning, capped off by the whole inning started off with an error by Wade Boggs. That started the whole inning. Then the Hound Dog hit a 2-run homer, and that put Seattle up 3-1. And then it just went downhill from there. 3 walks, actually 4 walks later, and a hit. And then they took the pitcher out, and they got a couple more hits. So before you knew it, it was 9-1 before you even knew what was happening. So that's going to do it from here. Game 214 in the books. Mike, like I said, I might come back at noon if Uncle Ron's not going to stream. I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to promise anything. I don't want to schedule anything too much in advance because I never know what's going to happen. But we shall see. Whatever, if I feel like I'm in the mood for it, I'll do it. I don't know. So we shall see. ID, if you're still here, one other thing, not on streaming, but just on my own, I have been trying to get back into this game. And I know you recognize what that is, if you're still here. And I'm going to try to get back into liking. I'm going to give it a second round and see if I can I saw a couple of videos over the weekend, old videos pop up, and I watched a few of it, and I was like, man, this game is really, now I look at it again, it's got some interesting stuff to it. So Fall Classic, I may try to get back into some Fall Classic offline. I don't know the rules well enough to play it online yet. I got to basically relearn the game because I haven't played it in so long. It's been almost a year since I played it, but I do want to try to get back into that. So anyway, thank you all for spending part of your Monday morning with me. I hope you have a great Monday. It's almost like an oxymoron because a lot of people hate Mondays. I know I used to hate Mondays, big time. But depending on what you're doing, Mondays can be good, I guess. It's all relative to what's going on. But hopefully the weather is nice where you are. I know it's hot, humid, and thunderstormy around here. That's typical summertime in Virginia. But anyway, check out Uncle Ron if he comes on at noon tonight, or noon today. Be sure to check out Retro Sports Network for his Action PC replay, 1956. If not, I may come on and do another Strat video with Toronto and Kansas City, or maybe it's something else. I don't know. Might find something else to do. But anyway, thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.